Okay.
Okay, Matt has made a couple of statements about my bike, which everybody has an opinion about this bike. I'll address them. I wrote them down here. Wrong springer leg, wrong horn, wrong gas caps, wrong Speedo, wrong shift gate, wrong seat. The air cleaner cover he says is black, chrome dash, chrome primary, chrome chain guard, and chrome bag brackets. And let's not forget then, if we're on the chrome deal, it's got a chrome relay cover and chrome rims. But, and let's not forget here while we're on the chrome deal, it's got a chrome, or nickeled it looks like, rear stand, nickel tail light, nickel handlebars, nickel handlebar controls, earlier version and nickel brake handle. Okay, this isn't 40, this is 39 and earlier. Has a chrome ride control knob. Oh, and let's not forget the horn face itself, the chrome face is an extra. By the way, the chrome headlight is an extra. The nickel or chrome tail light is an extra. It's called a chrome package. That's why it's got these little strips. Now, first off, you have to understand this is a 40. That means it was made in the era of the Great Depression. The Great Depression went from October 1929, Black Friday, all the way through till the time we entered World War II. That is the Depression era. It was actually worse in 1937 and 1938 than it was in 32 and 33. Because the government was starting to spend to build up for World War II, businesses started improving. That's why you went from a 2000-ish production of 39 to a double production in 1940. And they had no idea that was going to happen. That's why you have these little issues like we have with this bike. Now, first off, wrong springer leg. Let's address that. Look up Wikipedia. The first school Lincoln Electric Welder started for welding, electric welding, was 1916. Now, I am in absolute agreement with Harley's blueprints showing full-on production over every unit starting in 1944. We know for a fact that occasionally this bracket or that bracket was welded. The oil tank bracket is a good example. Was welded in place by an electric welder. Now, a buddy of mine by the name of Dave Cafton, sorry for putting you out there, Dave, he says, he tells me, he says, I don't claim to be an expert or anything about welding, but I only was the lead guy, directed a welding shop for 14 years, so I do know a little something. And he says, you can totally tell an electric weld from a gas weld because the bead goes upwards at the end of the bead, and the gas weld goes down. Well, this is real interesting because this little bead here goes down. That's a gas weld right there. And this little bead here goes up, and that's electric weld on the same fork leg. We got a gas weld, electric weld on the same fork leg on an original paint bike. Now there's going to be a link at the bottom of this video to another green, same color green, 40 in Japan. Like I've never seen an original paint knucklehead ever sold in Japan before. It just never happened. But just magically, if you pause the video at the right spot, you can fully see a welded rear leg on this original paint green 40, same green, optional green, and a 39 transmission shift gate. Now that's first, second, neutral, third, fourth. You can be across the room and see a 39 shift gate. You don't need to go, wow, 1, 2, let me count these, 1, 2, that's a neutral. No, you can totally see it. It's daylight. It's daylight. There it is, it's in the video. For this original paint bike, green bike in Japan. We're trying to find out who owns it. We've got a lot of connections over there. So, we're going to see. Now, this is the reality. If you're in manufacturing and it's the Great Depression, you're not going to one day wake up and go, today, tomorrow, we're going to just change the whole factory around. Hopefully everybody can figure it out because we ain't got to try to train anybody, and tomorrow we're going to do this new process. That's not reality. The reality is you're going to try a little here, try a machine there, try a couple guys, train a couple of guys, and when it all clicks in, after a couple of years of trial and experimental and error, then you're going to change your factory around. And that's what happened. So having a welded rear leg is no really big surprise. You know, they tried a couple, and they sent it out and tried. Harley Davidson always sent out the new stuff and tried it on their customers. They were notorious for that. And sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't, but they always tried it out on their customers. They didn't go around and around in a zillion miles like they do today before they sent it on the road. They tried it out on their customers and got feedback. And it wasn't in a blueprint, and it wasn't written down. And if you're lucky, maybe you got a bulletin about it, or you got a letter to the dealer who knowingly had it on one of his bikes. Very common that they did this. It was very routine for this company. That was manufacturing technique for most companies back then. That's what they did. You know, this wasn't 2014, man. This is 1940, different world. Different world. You know, there was no TV, let alone a cell phone, let alone the internet. There was no TV. You gotta understand when the entire climate these bikes are made in. Okay, wrong horn. Yeah, okay, it's got the wrong horn. You know what? If you look at this horn, it had to be assembled when this thing went together because your screws here go from the inside and you can't put nothing back here to tighten it. So it got tightened and bolted to this top piece and then bolted together. It got assembled that way. The whole fork had to be assembled with this horn. You can't just stick it on. You can't get in there. So why they put this horn on this bike, I can only conjecture. But I assure you, it came on this motorcycle. So the only way it could have come, let's suspend this disbelief and go, what's wrong with your horn? Let's suspend disbelief. The only way it could have come is because when this came, you know what happened? They didn't have any more. When they run out, they don't halt the production line. Stop the presses. Well, wait, you guys go home, man. We're out of that part. We're stopping everything. We got to wait for the next shipment of horns. Didn't happen. They always had next year's stuff 6 months or a year ahead of time. Because it's an assembly line and they got to have it ready. When you run out, you put on next year's or the year's earlier stuff. Always. I've seen it on the floor at the dealerships recently. Okay, we're talking about reality, not some little hyperbole from the AMCA of what they want to think happened. This is reality. Now, let's address some of the other stuff. Wrong gas caps. Yeah, well, it had aftermarket gas caps. Brand new old stock, aftermarket 50s era gas caps. Well, gee, let's look at a little history. New old stock set of early gas caps, which a real set hasn't never been on eBay since I've been watching. I wonder what they'd bring, 2 grand, 3 grand? They were a few $100s back in the 80s. Somebody stole them and they replaced them. Whoops. So I gotta find a set of gas caps. Not the end of the world. Not gonna deter me from buying the bike. So I gotta find a set of gas caps. You're right. I gotta find a set of gas caps. I knew that. Wrong shift gate. Dude, the transmission's got a 40 case. We just showed you. It's got a 40 case with a set of 39 gears in it. You think somebody popped it out and put a set of 39 gears on it, a 39 tranny? Shift gate on it? Come on, man. Get fucking real. It came that way. So why did it come that way? Let's think about this for a second. Well, I happen to have an invoice from 1946 with $15 discount because the man ordered a 3-speed transmission on his 46 knucklehead. Not a 3-speed reverse. He didn't order the 4-speed. He ordered a 3-speed and got $15 off. We're talking about a hard time. It was $5 extra to just get this paint job. He had to order it and wait. Well, just maybe, if you wanted a cheaper version, because they still had these gear sets they had to sell somehow, we'll just give you a little money off, and you can get the earlier transmission gear set. There just happens to be a 40, same color, optional 38 color. If you pause the video, I'm going to have the link at the bottom of the discussion page on this. If you pause the video, it just happens to have a welded rear leg. And it just happens to have a clear as day transmission from 39 on the shift gate. You think maybe some of them were made that way? Really? Come on. Let's get real here. Now, wrong Speedo. Well, it's got a 41 Speedo. That's a problem, because this Speedo has no trip meter. And it has the no trip meter little side plate, as you saw, which means you ordered it. That's the only way you got it. It was money off. Not only that, it doesn't have a chrome bezel. This isn't a war Speedo. There's no green. Okay, this isn't on an early war 46, which some had black bezels and some had chrome. This is a pre-war, ordered with no chrome bezel, no trip meter, and I'm not buying it. You're not going to put it on with the wrong cover. This bike came like that. So why does it have a 41 Speedo? Well, it's a mid-year production. It's right there in the motor number. It's a mid-year production. You think they didn't have 41 Speedos waiting to go? Really? They're going to order them at the last second? So maybe they just didn't happen to have a white face with a no trip meter. What do you think they did? They went and grabbed next year's stuff and they stuck it on. Hey, halt production, order up a white face, we'll wait a month. Right, don't think so. Didn't happen. Nobody does that. Now, wrong seat. Yeah, clear as day. It's got a vented later Solo that was a deluxe, as I talked about in other videos, and somebody had busted off or took off the thing. Well, it's got the wrong seat. All right, well, hey, whoa, man, that had a tore up seat, 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 this had a later seat on it, but thank God I gave you the original seat here. I guess I shouldn't have bought any of them original paint knuckleheads because they had the wrong seat. Well, yeah, I gotta find the right seat. Maybe I'll get lucky enough and find the right seat. Air cleaner cover. Matt McManus, I hate to tell you, buddy, they came chrome, they came cad, and they came black. Unfortunately, we noticed that it had been repainted, and we peeled off some of the paint on the air cleaner, and they, at some point, had sandblasted the chrome and painted it. So conjecture says, I guess it had some pity in the chrome, and they didn't think it was pretty enough. We'll never know why, because whoever did it ain't around no more. So I got to find a correct era patina air cleaner. Now it might be a black one, might be a cad one. I do have a chrome one somewhere in my stuff, but it's packed up. So I'm trying to move out of this shop. So we'll deal with that when we get to it. Now, chrome dash. Hate to tell you, pal, but these were ridden machines. Somebody actually rode this bike. Just like today, people chromed their stuff. Now the dash cover itself was a factory cover that had been re-chromed, which I pointed out in one of the other videos. Now the other stuff, let me tell you what, we got the documentation. George Hood, who bought out Troy Ross, Motorcycles Only, who bought out Eddie Ryan's stuff, happens to have a letter from Harley in the 30s saying, for this price and that price and this price and that price, basically we'll chrome your entire bike. You want a chrome frame, a chrome fork, chrome fenders, chrome whatever, here's the price. We'll do it. It's the Depression, man. They're into making money. You want it this or that, you want a blue fork, you want a red fork, you want a green fork, as long as it's on that year's color list or any previous year color list, we'll paint it for you too. We'll even custom chrome and paint it for you. Don't you read the enthusiast magazines? I thought you read about this shit. That's what you said. You should know this already. Okay, yeah, okay. Well, it's got chrome primary, chrome chain guard. Don't forget the nickel beer stand, and don't forget the chrome pave brackets. Well, it's also got a chrome rocker spring. It's also got chrome top springs here. That's called accessory stuff, man. Put it on the order list and get it. Big deal. Okay? I'm not taking this bike apart to correct it to your AMCA standards. Okay? History is about truth, and the truth will come out. This is why I got these bikes, so I can learn about the history of them. If it was about the money, I wouldn't have a one. I'd have sold it. You understand? I would have sold it. It would have been about the money. It would have been gone.
Off?
Yeah.